All right, welcome back to Sports Wrap, everybody. As we look ahead to next season for the Raiders, one of the biggest questions among fans is, what does Jimmy G look like? No, that's not everybody knows what he looks like, and he's right here. I don't want to get in the way and block Jimmy G and get in any sort of trouble here. But what can we expect? How about this? What can we expect from the new quarterback? If you ask the team, though, there's a lot of excitement for Jimmy G. Logan Reaver explains.
Jimmy G, just your normal, everyday civilian.
Man, he's just one of the boys.
Nothing too different about him.
Really cool guy.
The kind of fella who wakes up on a Saturday and looks forward to mowing the lawn.
He's just an ordinary dude.
Yep, you're totally normal, ordinary dude with ordinary articles written about him and ordinary everyday interactions with professional dancers dropping what they're doing to run over and simply touch his hand. A real average Joe, just like you and me. But there is one thing that every American can say they have in common with James Richard Garoppolo.
Literally before practice started, he's already talking so.
Yeah, he's a big talker. You know, him and Jermaine go back before that. I have to get Jermaine back in the huddle all the time. Like, he likes to get in your head.
Everywhere he's been, he's won. Bad teams, good teams, Super Bowl teams, ending up victorious at a ridiculous 71% of his NFL starts.
You see the tip of the iceberg out there, and you know, obviously the rest is underwater.
Got all the motions down. He's not thinking while he's up there, and so he's doing a great job.
You spent 4 years doing something, you know, and then you change languages a little bit. You know, you come back to it. Eventually, you pick back up where you were.
It's that little kid feeling. I don't know. It's nice to feel every once in a while, and yeah, it was cool to get back out there with the guys. Felt right.
But for the man who's pursued by everyone off the field, why do front offices not run after him like the Beatles? Jimmy has missed 33 games since 2018. He's had 3 season-ending injuries, and with foot surgery in March, people got worried, but not the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm not a big media guy talking in the offseason stuff, but yeah, never really a worry. We had a good plan here. The strength staff, training staff, really tip my hat to those guys. They did a great job just getting me back.
The injuries are a narrative the staff is looking to keep in the past. That way Jimmy can focus on, well, being your regular, everyday dude just walking down the street.
That's a reaction you got when you were in the NFL, wasn't it?
No,
Mark
I didn't get that
McMillan?
kind of
You
reaction. I didn't look that good. I didn't have no Versace shoes as a rookie either. So
that's sort of crazy. Okay, joining us now, former NFL player Mark McMillan. It is defensive back day here with Sam Webb and you here. First, let's talk to Jimmy G. So thank you, Logan, for that story. Your thoughts? New quarterback. Is he Derek Carr, more injury prone? Is he going to be better than Derek? A lot of people are comparing him to Derek Carr. He had the great defense in San Francisco helping him out there. What are your thoughts?
I think he'll do better because he's Josh's guy. Everybody know that Carr was not Josh's guy. He understands the verbiage coming from New England, so they went out and got a quarterback that they like, and it'll be a lot more comfortable for Jimmy G because they're giving him the open reins for the offense.
Sometimes change for the sake of change is good too. Derek Carr was here for 9 years. Yeah. People loved him or hated him or whatever. They had an opinion. Now he's loving life down with the Saints.
And he's eating good down there. You got gumbo, you got fried catfish, so he's doing good. But I'm also rooting for Carr too. You know, I just thought he got a raw deal at the end of the season. The way they treated him, class guy. Broke a lot of records, but he's in New Orleans now, and I wish him the best.
Okay, with the Raiders here, you've had a chance now to meet Sam Webb, say hi to him a little bit, talk about the Raiders secondary a little bit this year. Some changes with a couple of guys named Marcus. Epps and Peters are going to be here in the secondary this year for the Raiders.
That's great for the competition. Normally it wasn't a lot of competition in the secondary, but now you have veteran guys coming over with veteran experience. I'm a big Marcus Peters fan back in Kansas City. He's a ball hawk. He's got a little tread on his tires. Left on the tires, so we'll see how that works. But as far as competition in that secondary, I think is really good for that for the defense.
And Epps played for your Eagles. You were with the Eagles as well. Went to that football game last year, the big one at the end of the season,
the Super Bowl.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he's a great addition as well. Like I said, he got hurt earlier in the year, but he came back. Obviously the Eagles had a really good pass rush that allowed the secondary to be a little bit free, and hopefully that'll happen here with the Raiders. Max is going to show up every year. Chandler Jones has lost a lot of weight. He's looking real slim and thin, so we'll see how that pans out.
Well, and then you have, pass rush, Tyree Wilson in there as well. Now hasn't been at camp yet with the injured foot, but if he comes up and shows well from Texas Tech, and is able to do the job, you could potentially have some guys you can rotate in and out on that pass rush.
And you need that in the AFC because it's a pass-happy league. You need guys that can really get after the quarterback. You got Russ over there in Denver with Peyton at the helms now. You got Patrick Mahomes. Everybody knows about what they're doing in Kansas City. Justin just got the big payday with the Chargers. So there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that you need guys that can get after it on the outside.
I will ask you this. Okay, you mentioned the Broncos there and Russ Wilson. And sorry I didn't preview about this. I'm just going to ask you cold. Sean Payton over there now as head coach. He had some pretty, I don't know if you saw the
shots fired.
Some shots fired about the former coach that's now with the Jets.
Yeah.
And he blamed the former coach for what had happened and how Russ Wilson had failed in Denver last year. Now the pressure's on Sean Payton to make sure their success.
Well, I don't think Sean's worried about that. Everybody knows he's a great offensive mind. What he did in New Orleans was really good. And Russ is not terrible. It was just a terrible situation that he was in, and everybody's excited about having Peyton on board, and everybody knows he's going to put Russ in the best situation to be successful. And not to mention the Denver Broncos had a really good defense last year, so if they can just get the ball, less turnovers, they can be a force in the AFC West.
Well, they did win a Super Bowl not long ago with a very good defense and just a manageable offense with Peyton Manning at quarterback, certainly doing the job. And Russ Wilson, he could light things. It could be very interesting this year in the AFC West when you put, as you mentioned, what they've got going in Kansas City is tops. I mean, somebody's got to knock off the King, and the King shows no signs of slowing down.
Number 15s.
I am a little confused sometimes about San Diego, the LA Chargers, and what they're able to do. Now with Justin Herbert, you mentioned the new contract and what they can do. Where do you see the Chargers fitting in this mix?
They're a tricky team. It seems like, every year they're like, hey, the Chargers are going to, overtake the Chiefs. And they start off really well, and then they seem the injury bug hits them a lot. It seems like they just can't get over that hump. So we'll see this year. Everybody's starting off fresh. Like I said, we're starting off fresh here in Las Vegas. Jimmy G's at the helm. They got a ton of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Bring in Josh, give him a little bit of money, get him in camp.
That's what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What does he do? He's not going to show up for training camp, and there's no need for the preseason games, really, for that matter. Does he show up for the regular season and get the $10 million?
I think he shows up for the regular season. Like I said, it's hard to pass up $500,000 a game, but he bet on himself, and all he did was break a lot of records, even Marcus Allen's records as well, some of Bo Jackson's records. So he did really good last year, and of course he's from Alabama, so I got to pull for my guy.
Roll Tide. It's interesting to see what he's been able to do last year as running back. We badmouthed the offensive line quite a bit last year in pass protection, but in in being able to create holes for this guy, there's a lot of pride with that offensive line in being able to say they had the leading rusher in the league last year.
Yeah, that's really good for our offensive line when you got the big ugly guys up front making big holes for Josh, and he rewarded those guys really well. And like I said, you saw some of the highlights there. The holes were gaping holes, and he not only just runs the ball well, he catches the ball in the backfield. He blocks really well on blitz pickup, so he's a complete running back.
All right, Mark, stick around. You got pizza. You're the guy bringing the pizza.
We got pizza, baby. We're about to eat.
On defensive back day here on Sports Wrap. Rebel football practice will begin soon. A lot of work to get it done in a short period of time for a new coach, Barry Odom. We heard from the head coach at Media Day for Mountain West football earlier this month. The Rebels were picked to finish 9th out of 12 teams in the league. We haven't had a chance to see what Odom can do with this new team, though, and a new conference for him, at least. When you listen to his attitude and his philosophy about the game, there's a lot to think about and like about him and what he brings to the Rebels.
We've got a small window of time to make a difference. I want to leave my legacy on UNLV football. That's what I want. Is that a personal goal? Absolutely. But there's a way to do that, and there's a foundational approach on how you attack it every single day. And then if you can do that consistently, then you're starting to make a change.
Oh, indeed. See how the Rebels can do this year with a lefty quarterback, Doug Brumfield, back again. He's a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. We'll see how that goes. Rebels kick off their season at home against Bryant September 2nd. We'll be right back.